Oi, oi, so it finally feels like we're making a bit of progress. So last time we talked about the extra room where we were having problems and going through engineering. That has all been solved and we finally went ahead. We started obviously framing the roof and also concreted. So during the week we had the concreters out come and prep that whole area with reinforcement and bars chem set into the ground. And then they came through today and we fully concreted it. I was on the barrow again for a little bit, absolutely destroyed me, but you got to get in there and get it done. Then over 2 separate weekends, I had Brendan out who helped me with the French doors originally. He's come out to help me with the framing and the rafters. So as you can see, we've attached it to the original frame and it's all to what the engineer wanted. And then we've obviously started a frame down the side. We've also bricked up a little bit of the window and also the door that used to be here is now gone. One of the hardest parts with putting this new skillion roof to the old tile roof is where they join and how we're going to be flashing that to get rid of the water. Because obviously we've got all different pitches and valleys all coming together. So we've got to work out the best way to basically not let the roof leak. But from what we've worked out so far, my mate Steve's going to be doing a lot of the roofing and the flashing with myself. I'll be giving him a hand. So we're going roof sheets all the way up and that's going to be fairly straight up and down. It's going to put a barge cap, I think it's called, and then there's one that goes under the tiles. So it'll just be across there, down, and then sort of comes up and in so that all the water will come down this way into the gutter and out that way. Then the harder, more annoying part is where it comes down here. You've got a valley and we're going to have to put a box gutter, I think, straight through to that way. And all the box gutter is basically an internal sort of gutter that'll come in, drop down a little bit. There'll be a little bit of a bulkhead here, which is fine because that's going to be just where cabinetry is. We've just got the bedroom cupboards in here. And so that's all going to be hidden in a small bulkhead. It doesn't have to be too big, but that way we'll be able to drive the water out this way and into the stormwater. So on top of those two things, we've also jumped into the electrical and the plumbing. So I took a couple of days to basically chase everything for the bathroom. So we've got the ensuite, which is in here. That joins up with the main bedroom. There's a cavity slider. We've run through that before and I've finally put in this cavity slider. But this is the main bathroom. We've got the bath, that's a drain, shower, vanity, toilet. That's a, what do you call it, cistern, an in-wall cistern. I know a lot of people are probably going to complain about that. We've gone with that just because the amount of space that we have is very limited. So this is the ensuite, same sort of thing, drain, vanity, toilet and shower. And as you can see, we're all piped in. Steve's come through and absolutely smashed it. It's looking good. I think he's just got a little bit more to do on Monday. And then I also chased these. So that's the plumbing and also the power. Ran in a bit of conduit. A bit of 2.5 running from over here. That's going to go to the island bench in the center of the kitchen. And then the laundry. So he's thrown in his bit. All plumbing's done, which is fan-bloody-tastic. I've thrown in a couple of noggins just in there for dryers and that sort of stuff. But then you can see with all the mess, they've just got to come over here. But all the power's in. So power's taken me a fair bit to do because I've been doing everything else, including chasing, helping with the plumbing, more framing, putting in the extra wall. Obviously this wall wasn't in there last week. That all got done this week. Wanted to shout out one of the sponsors of this video, Tradify. They have a job management app which will help you with your business. They are trusted by more than 30,000 tradies and they have a deal at the moment, 50% off the first 3 months when you use my code. All the details will be in the description. It's worthwhile checking out. I've also put in these here. So we've got shelves. We've done niches in the past for showers. Weren't a big fan of them. And the last house we had shelves. We did something like that. That's, I think, almost 1,200 high. And we just felt that that was just way easier. It's also a lot easier than just a little niche. So we've done that over there, and then another one for this shower. But yeah, I'll put in that frame this week. It's pretty much all good to go. We did shim it a little bit. Some of these timbers are absolutely terrible. I had to replace one because it was just that bad. And that's something that I've worked out. If you're picking up any timber, spend the time going through it and looking straight down it, making sure it's not twisted. Twisted is the absolute worst. I can't stand twisted timber. You may as well just throw it out. But if you have it, usually use it for noggings. But yeah, make sure it's straight both ways and make sure it's not twisted. Spending that little extra time has been really worth it, not having to spend the extra time planing and shimming out the walls. But yeah, power. It's pretty much done. I've just got to do a bit of tidying up and getting down a couple of walls. I've got to work out the bed width so that I can put the light switches and the power in. So you can see most of these are all going back to the board. And realistically, that's all we have. I think that's about it. That's everything, including the oven and the aircon. I think I will do a whole separate video for the electrical, going through some of that. I don't know how in depth I'll go, but I will be covering it. But as you can see, we've run all the way around. Most of it's in the eaves. It's in the areas where it's less than 600 mils, so you can run through there without any mechanical protection, whereas everything else that's running higher than 600 is pretty much sort of a walkway. I've thrown extra timber in, such as here, and run the cables down the side of that. But look at that. We've even started to fit off. Just did a couple today while I was standing around waiting for the concreters. If you haven't seen, these are from Voltex. They're the twist connects. So these ones are for 1.5. You've got to get the right ones for your cable size. They did send these out to me. I am working with Voltex for this, just trying out the gear. I haven't tried too much of it. So we're gonna see how it goes with fit off and the switchboard, because that's what most of the gear is. It's 4-on-3s, CBs, RCBOs, main breaker. I think that's about it. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll let you guys know if there's any problems, how easy it is to use. I really do like these. They don't actually require a tool unless you're working with the end cable, which is really good. But I'll run through that with a whole other video. So hit me up if you've got any questions about that. When it comes to the rest of the house, we're just slowly putting bits and pieces into place ready for plaster. We also do have the insulation here. As you can see, the shed is absolutely full of insulation. We did go with the pink bats, and that was mainly just because of the pricing compared to the earth wool, which is what I wanted to go. It's just less itchy and irritating to put in, but it was more than twice the price of the pink bats, and I just couldn't justify spending, I think it was almost going to be $6,000 compared to roughly $2,500, which was a big difference. But yeah, that'll go in just before we go plaster. So what I have been doing is running through, making sure we've got nogs all the way around. So through here, they'll want to put their plaster sheets up onto something. So I've had to throw in one there. I've also had to throw in shear blocks, a couple more shear blocks. That was something the engineer brought up when he did his walkthrough the other day. He had to come to clear the slab prep ready for the concrete. So when he went through, he had a look at the frame. He's got to do one more walkthrough before I put plaster and just make sure we're all good. He seemed pretty happy so far. I've also been going through putting the rod tie down. So that goes from the bottom and is chem set into the ground and then tied down from the top. So we've got a nut and washer on top pulling this down. And we had a little bit of an update with the aircon. So the aircon got pretty much put in almost the first month or so that we started the renovation. We originally had the AirTouch 2 ready to install and go, but the guys from AirTouch got in touch with me and sent out the AirTouch 5 for me to throw in and pretty much see how it goes. There's nothing I have to say for them or do for them. Pretty much they just wanted to see what I thought of it, show everyone, and pretty much take you through their new technology, which does look fantastic. There's quite a few new features that they've got with the AirTouch 5, which I'm really excited about showing you guys and just utilizing myself. So, we're all framed out. Look at this. I think this is a little bit extra. I don't know how everyone else frames them out, but I just went ahead and and tried to make it as nice and good as possible for him. I have made some sort of a video on how I pretty much did it. Fairly straightforward and self-explanatory, but I've gone straight here and then obviously kept it straight on the sides, put a bit of an angle. We originally did have it straight down. I didn't think about it too much, but then when I did that, I wanted a little bit extra light to come through on that angle. And also when you're coming down the hallway, you'll be able to see that just a little bit more. I don't know if it makes much of a difference, but I think I made the right decision with going 90 degrees. So that goes up and down on the 90. So what's on the cards for the next week? I've got to make sure the electrical is all perfect, all ready to go. Same thing with the plumbing. Plumbing's back Monday. I think that should be it until fit off, obviously, but that'll be after joinery and plaster. I've actually got to start getting rid of these lintels at the top there. Most people actually haven't even seen these. So these were with the house originally. They're just sitting over the top and then they come down and on the side. A little bit strange. Not a lot of people have seen this, but I'm going to cut these out. They're not doing anything anymore and they're just in the way. So get rid of this one as well. We've obviously got this beam. We're going to start framing this wall in here, but this is now just going to be the bedroom. So one door here and frame all out here, then another wall straight out there, which will go to the roof obviously, and separate the lounge to the bedroom. I've then got to go through this beam and frame out through here. So we've got some timber that's flush with that. Got to get rid of some of these, chop them back, they're in the way. Ready for plaster. We're going to go straight across to the door frame there. That's just going to be one bulkhead. And then I might even start putting the insulation into certain parts like the outside walls, some of these other walls and the roof. I think that's probably going to be me for the week. That's a fair bit. But I do have to say this last week, getting a lot of that roof done, the slab done, the plumbing, the electrical, all that background work has been a lot in the making, and it's just been a slow process for this last couple of months, and it's sort of started to get to me a fair bit with the renovation. And I guess it's one of those spots with building where it's just slow. It doesn't look like much has actually happened. From the outside, a lot of people have actually questioned how much I've actually done in the last couple of months, but it's just slow. I even spent a whole day or two taking out the glue and the nails from the ceiling and the walls. Whereas at the beginning of the job, the demo and a lot of that sort of work really makes big changes from the outside. These other things just don't seem like there's much done. So it's just been slow and steady. We're getting there. All the backbone stuff is now done, which is absolutely fantastic. And I think these next few months are really going to push forward quite quick. Once we get the plaster on, that's going to be fantastic. That's just going to start transforming this whole area. And then from then on, it's smooth sailing. We've got the fit off, we've got the floors, obviously ceiling will be done, walls will be done. I'll get all the lights in. We're looking pretty good.